Legacy Maker, the All Sports
The
Network.
place is here and the time is now. Let's take it round for round. And people gather round. Let's see who can win the crown. All the marbles involved. Football, baseball, or golf. Who's dominating the hoops? Who's talking false or the truth? Yeah, come and show me your war face. I'll show you my war face. No holds barred, so for your sake, you better show up in good shape. Valuable information is key to your domination. So focus on preparation. Online is your reputation. Yeah, it's one-on-one. You and me, ain't no fear in me. You will see. When it comes to this, you'll be wearing the number 23. In debate, I hold my weight cause these sports I'm attached to it. Your legacy, get ready cause I'm gonna set a match to it. Hey. Burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
What it do, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 73 of Legacy on Fire, joining you now on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and, of course, airing on the amazing Bowie television. I'm your host, Darrell Owens. Glad to have you all here with us today as we break down episode 73 and get into some fun topics as we get a little bit closer to the Olympics. We get a little bit closer to the NFL season. We're in the swing of things, or pretty much past the swing of things in the NBA off season. So we've got a lot to talk about into that. The WNBA season is in full swing. We're about to take their break for the Olympics. So we've got a couple things to get into today. Plus, we'll be doing our predictions for the AFC and the NFC East today. So, of course, let me go ahead and introduce you to the amazing panel. Some of the regulars here on Legacy on Fire. First, my co-host, the man, myth, and the legend. Below me there, Mr. James Brown. James, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. Back for another week. Let's see what we got in store for these people out here today.
Yeah. And then, to my right, a man of many travels, and long-term Legacy Maker Sports Network team member, Mr. Lamonte Thomas. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. Glad to be back. What's up, Bowie TV? What's up, Legacy Maker Sports fans? Let's get it.
Yeah, and with Lamont saying that, let's not play games. Let's go ahead and get into it, and let's rock out one sentence. All right, our first one sentence topic. Okay, so the other day, now we've had they've actually had their first exhibition game, which happened last night. But the other day, we had a little bit of a flashback to 1992. We had a little bit of a dream team flashback to 1992. Now, I know that some of the other college players have played well against the NBA players in free, but this one is one of note because the young man that you see guarding LeBron James there, Mr. Cooper Flag, who is going to be, who a lot of people think the man out there at Duke this coming NCAA season. He had quite the performance against LeBron James and Team USA. So today we do our one sentence on Cooper Flag's performance against Team USA. And since it's been a while, Lamont, we'll start with you. What is your one sentence for Cooper Flag's performance against Team USA? I'm getting my words out.
Yeah, my one sentence is gonna be: give me the ball and watch what I do with it, which is an intro to an old song. I'm gonna let y'all look that one up.
We'll figure it out.
I ain't trying to date myself, but yeah. So I mean, it was a great performance, and I think that in the last 2 minutes, particularly, the game was close. They only lost by a point, but it was a little misleading. But rumor has it he scored, I think, like anywhere between 17 and 20 something. They're trying to find out. But yeah, the last 2 minutes was good. Like he had the 3 versus Anthony Davis. He came down and had the and one putback to actually put them in the lead up by 1, the white team. And then he should have demanded the ball for the last shot. That would have done it. But to note, and to be fair on Team USA's team, the last 2 minutes, who wasn't in the game? LeBron, KD, Steph, and Tatum all were not playing. So
okay.
Real, like that's to put it in perspective, but it definitely put Cooper Flag on the biggest stage And shout out to my guy Anthony if he's watching that I work with. He's from Maine, and he's excited about Cooper Flag, and he should be because he's next up.
Yeah. I mean, if you're sitting at home or if you're an NBA team, the Wizards, the Wizards. Whew. If you're a team that is struggling and just praying to the Lords above that you can get the number 1 pick, Charlotte Hornets. Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yes.
If you're just praying that you can get that number 1 pick and that young man can fall into your lap next year, man, oh man, the tides are turned. Just imagine if you're the Wizards. You get the number 2 pick this year. If you can somehow get flagged next year. But that's just, let me not give Wizards fans hopes up because we know they'll probably get the number 2 pick again next year. James, we head to you. What's your one sentence on Cooper Flag's performance against Team USA?
My one sentence would be capture the flag. I mean, Cooper Flag had a performance. But, he kind of showed that why he's the number 1 player in the country going into Duke, but then also why he's viewed as that top pick in next year's draft. I mean, we're looking at a guy who can be a franchise player, it seems, coming out of the gate, something that we really haven't seen in a while from a number 1 pick. A lot of these guys coming in now at number 1, they still need to develop. They still need to take some time, where it seems that Flag is more so of that ready-made prospect in a sense. So I'm just excited to see what he does this year in college. The fact that, he kind of held his own at the next level against pros, it bodes well for him, man. So I'm just excited to see what he's able to do.
Yeah, me too. I shouldn't even do this, but I'm going to say it, and we'll probably get in trouble for it later. Prepare yourself, ladies and gentlemen, for more Caitlin Clark hype via Cooper Flag next year. I'm just saying, if it goes the way I think it's going to go, it's about to be fire, and it's going to give so much hype. And then the next year, maybe the NBA draft, maybe the 2 days will be a little bit more interesting to watch. I will say this. We got a couple comments in here real quick. Man,
That's my man, Anthony.
He said Coop, and then he did say, hey, he caught your one sentence there and said they're all playing capture the flag. There it is right there. So that's amazing. Mike Adams, this kid will be amazing when he gets there.
That's awesome, my guys. Shout out to my legacy people. I'm sorry. Shout out to my Tyler people showing me love right now.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man. Look, by all means. So I can't wait to see it. Like he's going to be special next year, and injuries forbidden. I can't wait to see what he brings to the college game next year. And the men kind of need it because to me right now, the women got that thing rocking and rolling. It's all about Juju next year. So we shall see.
Right. That song, by the way. That song was Hardball by Sammy, and that was Bow Wow who said that. So yeah,
get yourself a little bit, sir.
Yeah,
Sammy.
I couldn't leave him in suspense.
Oh my God, Sammy! That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm gonna have to go and listen.
That's definitely a throwback.
Yeah, that's a throwback. I'm gonna have to go back.
That first line. Give me the ball. Watch what I do with it, and then the beat drops.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. All right, next one sentence. Let's talk about Bronny James so far. We want to talk about his performance so far in the summer league, and obviously there's a ton of hype because let's be honest. He got LeBron's hair structure, but it looked just like Savannah. I know he's supposed to be junior, but that's just how that works. That's just how that works. But with that being said, I wanted to get you guys' perspective on Bronny James's summer league performance so far. I left our league on there, but summer it still works. James, I'll start with you first. What is your one sentence on Bronny James's summer league performances so far?
My one sentence would be, I know it's summer, but can I get a little bit more? So far, Bronny James has played in 2 of the 3, I believe, summer league games for the Lakers. In his first game, he went 2 for 9, had 4 points. In the second game, he went 1 for 3, had 3 points. So the scoring isn't there right now, but when we think about it, if he gets a chance to play in the major league next year with his dad, he's probably going to average maybe about 7 to 8 looks a night. If he can knock down 2 or 3 of those, especially if 2 of them are 3-pointers, that's pretty much, what we're expecting to him in his rookie season. So shot-wise, the first game, like I said, he took 9 shots. He made 2 of them. I need a little bit more from you there. Defensively, at times he holds his own. At other times he's been put on skates. That's natural. That'll come. Also, passing-wise, sometimes he makes some good plays as far as facilitating the game. So, there's flashes. And I just want to see a little bit more consistency out of it, a little bit more consistent flash, a little bit more consistent jump shooting, scoring at the cup, all of that. So the flashes are there. Can I just get a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, and like even in that first play that he scored in the first summer league game, I said, okay, it looks clean. I think a lot of people, the name obviously is going to be like, man, that's LeBron's son. But I really do think, and it may not be this year, it may not be next year. I think about 5 years from now, when he's really had a chance to kind of just have himself in goals, I think he'll be a really good role player in the league. And obviously, in most people's eyes, that won't be good because he's LeBron's son. But if you come in with the expectation that nobody expects him to be LeBron. I mean, at least I know I don't
nobody
expect
should.
him to be LeBron. Nobody should expect him to be LeBron, but he really could have a solid NBA career and make something out of it. So we'll see. But Lamont, we head to you on this one. What is your one sentence on Bronny James' summer league performance so far?
All my lyrics are from hip hop, so I gotta keep it up. So from the song "Dear Summer," where Jay-Z is on, he says, "I ain't none of these half-a newcomers. You know how I do summer." That's my one line, and I really want to put it in perspective, right? Because of who he is, everybody's expecting large numbers. They're expecting LeBron out of the gate. But let me put this in NBA perspective, right? There's a man by the name of PJ Tucker. Okay, PJ Tucker is known for playing good defense and getting rebounds, right? This man on May 1st, 2023, if you don't know about PJ Tucker, he did win the NBA championship with the Bucks, right? He was a pivotal part of that team. May 1st, 2023, in the Eastern Conference Finals versus the Celtics, this man played for about 35 minutes and shot the ball 0 times. 0. On March 13th, later, 0 points, 0 rebounds, with, I believe, the same amount of minutes. PJ Tucker gets paid $11 million a year to score 0 points in the Eastern Conference Finals. His contract right now is 3 years for $33 million because he plays defense and he gets rebounds when it really matters for his team. That's the kind of player that Bronny James needs to be and who he was scouted to be for the Lakers. It's not to be the next LeBron. It's not to put up gargantuan numbers every night. If he can do his job with his skill set, is to get rebounds will help, but he actually passes the ball very well. He has a high IQ and he plays defense. If he can do those 3 things for a team that can make themselves contenders and he can contribute towards them being a contender, then he's doing his job. And I think that's how we need to look at Bronny James in the eyes of this NBA league.
Yeah. Like I said, it'll be interesting to kind of see how it all ends up. But we do have some very interesting comments in here. First, our guy Sean Mears, he's been on the show multiple times, just came off of a great show with our guy Drew Willingham the other day on In or Out Sports Debate. He says flashes where he's averaging 2.8 points in the summer league with the laughing emoji at the end. Our man Justin Brown, Boogie Ellis, greater than Bronny James, nepotism at its finest. At his finest. Sean saying hell no. He don't like anything we're saying. And H, and all it is H here. So H is cooking us early. He's I've been on here for 5 seconds. Y'all already lying.
I brought out facts though. Go look up those games. They really happened. This man really scored no points with no shot attempts and no rebounds in 30 plus minutes of play, and he gets paid $11 million. None of those things are last. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all he said. And then he said he sucks. I think we're talking about Bronny there. He said nobody expects him to be LeBron, which this is good. This is a good expectation. We needed to stay that way. PJ Tucker averaged 13, 8, and 2 in college. And then also he said Bronny can't even play college basketball.
But what does that have to do with him getting a ring and scoring no points and having no rebounds and getting paid $11 million? Because ain't nobody paying him for college. Somebody let me know. Just saying. Okay.
Just saying. We head to our next one. And we head to the Firestarter. All right, as we head to the Firestarters, our next topic in Firestarters has to do with the NBA offseason. So far, We've seen quite a bit of movement in the NBA offseason. So I'm intrigued just to see what you guys have to say about some of the moves that have happened so far, and which one is your favorite move so far in the NBA offseason. James, we'll start with you, man. What is your favorite move so far in the NBA offseason, and how do you feel about the offseason so far?
Honestly, all season so far, it was a little slow pace. I mean, the big fish, of course, is Paul George. He goes on his way to Philly. And then really outside of that, we had a few moves made by a couple teams that are contending that, hope to put them over the hump. But there wasn't that big buzz this year for NBA free agency like we've seen in years past, where there's multiple guys on the market and available to either be traded, sign in trades, or just outright sign with multiple teams. So, the hype wasn't as much this year. But I would say not really favorite, but a move I did like was Klay Thompson going to Dallas. I feel that, Klay kind of provides some of what Dallas was missing this year in the NBA Finals, especially if he's healthy and he's able to play defense and just, hit the corner threes. They don't need him to be that full version of Klay that won the titles with Steph in Golden State when they were both in their prime. They need more so that if he can get, 10, 12 points a night and play solid defense for him, along with the offense that Luka and Kyrie are able to generate, that can go a long way for Dallas. So I'm curious to see what happens there with that move. And then also, I'm a little upset that Golden State moved out Klay because of the three, and I know there was a meme going around where, basically Klay was David Ruffin Temptation, and he got put out the group. Draymond's David Ruffin, so it's like they kept David Ruffin and kicked Blue out the group. So I don't know. It's weird. It's awkward. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm interested to see what happens. But I think they kicked out the wrong player, though. That's me.
That's too funny. I'm about to hit him with the line. It was like,
ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Ain't nobody coming to see you. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Draymond. You wish you could work it the way I do. Come on now. Lamont, we head to you next, brother. What is your thoughts on the NBA offseason? And what's your favorite move so far?
No, I think James was right. It was kind of slight compared to what we're used to. And I think the obvious answers here are, Klay Thompson to Dallas and then PG to the Sixers, even though that's kind of just like a swap for Harden because Harden stayed at the Clippers where he came from and now he's a Sixer. But okay. But I think that my answer would be Caruso and Isaiah Hardenstein to the Thunder, right? And I think if you think about it, they're the number one team in the West last year. They might have gotten better with that move, right? They were top 4 defense in the league. NBA got top 4 defense in the league. They might have got better with Caruso, right? And Hardenstein also. It kind of reminds me of like when Iguodala went to the Warriors, right? Like we were like, Iguodala wasn't when he made that move. They were like, they kind of wrote him off. They're like, it's been a while since he's been Sixers Iguodala, but when he played his role for that Warriors team, they obviously turned into a dynasty, right? And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen because of the West, but like, I just think it was a really good move and it's overlooked. Honorable mention, the Pelicans added DeJounte Murray. To me, I think that was big. Last 3 years, Murray led the league in steals, and Herbert Jones is like top 10. He also plays for New Orleans, right? They lost Valanciunas, but I think that now they get Evie Amisi, the guy from Baylor, 7 foot, and just a couple years ago he was making went viral videos on YouTube and Instagram about him dreaming to be in the NBA in Cameroon. He's playing like on a dirt court and lifting made weights, DIY weights, and now he's in the league. So if it works out, it might be a good move for the Pelicans too.
Yeah. So my favorite move, even though it's not the move I wanted to see, is that got to be DeRozan to the Kings. And I like it because you bring a really good veteran presence to a really good, they're not crazy young, but they're young. They're still NBA young. You got a good core with Fox and Sabonis, and now you add DeRozan to that mix. And they were already a team that, even though they were in the play-in last year, the year before last, we saw what they could do as a team. And I think bringing DeRozan in could help them get back to the top part of that West, anywhere between that 1 and 4 seed. I'm not going to say they're the 1 for sure, but I think they can be in that range. But you know how the West works the last couple of years. we'll have this one team that just kind of goes in and does really well, kind of surprise you a little bit, and they're the 1 or 2 seed. They may not make it to the finals, but they still make noise. I think that can be Sacramento with DeRozan. So I'm just I'm just intrigued to see how that goes. And there were so many other moves, but that was the one. Our man Sean Mears, he got some good ones. He said the 76ers acquired PG, and that was the only real smash. DeRozan settled by going to Sacramento. I wanted him in Miami so bad. But every time, ladies and gentlemen, that they say, oh, they always pick Miami to be the front runner for a player. And I'm like, bro, stop doing it. Because every time it happens, it never happens. The only time that we were front runner for a player and it actually happened was Kyle Lowry. And it's the one that I didn't want. Keep on now. Woo. All right. Anyway, he says Clay has seen better days, unfortunately. And while he's productive, he can't play defense. Sean also says he says he likes the Buddy Hield move to the Dubs. You know, Buddy Hield has been one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA. Underrated, which is crazy to say, but he's been on teams that haven't really, you know what I'm saying? Like they haven't had that flash where he could be out in the forefront. So it'll be interesting to see if he can be a substitute splash brother in Golden State. Justin Brown says Jordan Poole was David Ruffin and Draymond is Otis. And he says the Villanova Knicks, he said going in on chemistry. That's actually a low-key good move.
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, they were very excited. I mean, they were already a good team with what they had. You bring in Bridges, who has really showed off the last couple of years and has been a really good player in the NBA. Now you bring that championship chemistry to New York. New York's hoping for the best, man. They're like, look, man, if this goes down, we in there.
And if it don't, you screw because it costs you 5 picks, bro. So
right. 5 picks.
All or nothing.
I hope they were all
picking the first round in 2040.
Right. I saw some people giving 2031 picks away. That's 8 years from now, 7, 8 years from now. And then last one, Sean said, y'all got me hyped over here in beautiful Verona. We got Sean out here, blood pressure running high. Sorry, Sean.
Come on.
All right. Our next one on the fire starters. We're going to the NFL for our last 2 topics. And this one has to do with the top 5 NFL wide receivers heading into the 2024 season. Now, last week we did running backs, and this is perfect timing because if y'all did not realize, I believe it was yesterday or maybe the day before yesterday, the new series on Netflix, Receiver, dropped, and I've been binge watching. I'm on like episode 5 now. And it's been a really good series so far. I've really enjoyed kind of getting into the mind of these players and getting their perspective on some things, you know, especially Devontae. Devontae stuff has been purely interesting leading up until Pierce got there. My boy was hot. So if you haven't watched it yet or you're thinking about it, you got to jump on it. It's been really good so far. But with all that being said, and I'll start this one with Lamonte. Who are your top 5 receivers heading into the 2024 NFL season?
All right. And this may be, you know, there's reason for this, but I'm gonna go. So at number 5, I'm actually gonna go with Garrett Wilson. I feel like he's been doing so much with, you know, that question at quarterback. What's that? You said who? I'm going Garrett Wilson.
I didn't say none.
I think he was a little baffled, but that's about it.
No, and I get it. But I think that because he's been such a bright spot on such a team with no leadership and no real quarterback, and I just think if they can get something out of 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, it will let him turn the corner. I do believe that. At number 4. I think I got Jamar Chase. I still feel like with that tandem with him and Joe Burrow is just amazing. They got chemistry that goes back before the league. They're a cheat code, so he always gives them a chance. At number 3, I'm actually gonna go Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, how can you not like that guy? I just feel like this guy. It came out that he actually played with like a completely torn oblique last year, and still murdered the league. So that's insane, and I just think his work ethic is just absolutely crazy. And the Lions are looking up. They look like they're been getting better every year. So I got St. Brown at 3. At 2, I'm gonna have to go with CeeDee Lamb. You know, we love to make fun of the Cowboys. We love to give them crap when they lose, but honestly, like the question was, could he be a number one receiver? And he's been crushing it. I mean, I think that, that's like the one consistency and the one bright spot that they really have is it doesn't matter what you do. Like, he's a true number one. You get him on the outside, he can get open, and he's open often. So putting up big numbers. And then number one, I got to go Tyreek Hill. I mean, the guy's just he makes the most plays, and he's the biggest threat to take over a game and beat you by himself. And I think that, obviously that offense in Miami is powerhouse. So, and not to honorable mention, I mean, of course, the Justin Jeffersons, he's coming off injury. A.J. Brown, Nakua.
It's hard. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to do.
All those guys been really balling, but, due to, new offenses, new coordinators, questionable quarterback, I just left him in honorable mention, but that's what I got.
It's actually a legit thing. I had thought about trading for Jefferson in a fantasy world, and I'm like, I don't know if it's the move until I see what Donald has in as much, and we know he's great. And what Donald could do in the offense before I could make any move with Justin Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to see it. McCarthy's probably, if I had to take a strong guess, will probably start by midseason, and that would be my strong guess, unless they're going to completely make him wait a year. So I feel you on that one. James, we head to you. Your top 5 NFL receivers heading into the 2024 NFL season.
So heading in, what I'd have, Amon-Ra St. Brown at 5. Loved what he did last year. I mean, arguably he's been the best receiver for Detroit since Calvin Johnson. Tough, can go over the middle, can stretch the field as well. I mean, he's a football player. He just happens to play wide receiver, but the guy's a football player. I love his energy. I love his motor. He's my 5 spot. 4, I'd go with Jamar Chase. I know he was a little nicked up last year, but, he's looking to get his money. Contract year coming up for him. He's looking to get, around the same money that we saw Justin Jefferson, his teammate from LSU, got. So I'll have him at number 4. Hopefully Burrow can stay healthy. Those two, they have that camaraderie. They have that tandem where we've seen what they can do together. They have the potential to win a Super Bowl. We saw them get there. We'll see if they can get back this season if both of them can stay healthy. So I have him at 4. 3, I have Tyreek Hill. I mean, again, the guy's a freak. He's only 5'10", but flat out flies up and down the field. Last year, he had like 1,700 yards. And we know his goal. He wants to go for 2,000 yards for the Dolphins. And then also he's another guy where he's looking to get that next contract. I think he's got 1 or 2 years left on his deal, but all his guaranteed money is gone. So he's looking to get paid again. So he's looking to show out again this year, especially with Miami already having paid Waddle. We'll see what they do with Tua, but I got Tyreek Hill at my 3 spot. Number 2, CeeDee Lamb. He had a hell of a performance last year for Dallas. Again, another guy who is looking to get paid to, earn that top end money that he rightfully deserves. And then at number 1, I know he's had a change up at the quarterback position, but it's got to be Justin Jefferson. I mean, he has the best start to an NFL career as a wide receiver. I know he's going to have a new quarterback situation this year, but how many times have we seen for a lot of these young quarterbacks or struggling quarterbacks, a lot of those guys on the outside tend to make life better for them. And arguably you could say Justin Jefferson is that guy. I mean, he made life pleasant for Kirk Cousins. I kind of wish that he could transfer teams to another team that has Kirk Cousins, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, it would only be a beautiful thing, right?
He makes life easy. He makes life easy for quarterbacks, it seems. I mean, he even did it in college with Joe Burrow.
You got tradable
granted,
pieces.
he has some help around, but Justin Jefferson. I mean, until it's proven otherwise, he's my number 1 guy heading into the season.
Yeah, like I say, and watching the show receiver so far, it's if you didn't have any affection for any of these guys, it's hard for you not to find a way to like these guys, and that's what quarterback did. When it came out, and it's the same dream here. All right, so for me, and this is based off a little bit off of last year for the most part, but I got number 1. I got Tyreek Hill because I feel like I saw him against Washington last year. Whew. Boy, that was, and I know it's Washington, but when you see it in person. And just how fast, how fast and how quick and how smooth. I mean, he changed the game. He literally changed the game. And he got them in such a bad position early just by himself. He kind of took a break the rest of the game. He still did a little couple here, but he took a break the rest of the game. And it was just watching him. And I seen him do that a couple times last year. He's just so productive. Number 2 for me, Justin Jefferson. I even though with everything that's going on, I still like Justin Jefferson. It's hard for me to get. It's something about it, but I felt Lamonte's reasoning because I was like, this is kind of the reason why I wanted to leave him out. And he wears purple, but that's besides the point. Besides the point. At number 3, I got CD Lamb. CD Lamb's season last year was amazing. He was in the running. I don't know if I can't remember if he won offensive player. No, he didn't win offensive player of the year. That was McCaffrey. But he was in the running for offensive player of the year, and the way he played towards the end of that end of the season last year, he was on fire. So I want to give him that. Number 4, I'm gonna say number 4. I'm gonna give it to AJ Brown. When he is going, AJ Brown is this, and this is another person I just, like I said, I've seen it in person, and I also have to clarify, yes, it is against Washington, last year's Washington team. But watching him and watching how dominant he was in those games and just watching how strong and just amazing he was on the field, it was hard. And number 5, I'm going to give it to my boy Davante Adams because, and yes, you can call me home or whatever, but for him to go through what he went through with the quarterbacks and still put up 1,000-yard season, and even though they were not throwing him the ball, he still found ways to be very effective for that team, especially toward the latter part after P took over. To me, he's still, and if you listen to some of the players, even on the show, they're like, who's your favorite? Oh, who's the best player? Oh, it's Davante Adams. So I don't want to give that to him. I just hope that Minshew can just do right by him this year. That's all I can ask for. So we'll see about that. Before we move.
Absolutely terrible.
I understand. I understand your reasoning. Look, against everybody, good against everybody except for the Broncos. At least. Our man Sean says Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that's another one. It was hard to leave Amon-Ra out, and so he'd probably be my honorable mention. Is the truth? He got Jefferson 1, Brown 2, Chase 3, Lamb at 4, and AJ Brown at 5. With Hill be an honorable mention. But see, that's the thing. In this league, it's almost like you can't go wrong. It just really depends on your style and what you feel about that. You know what I'm saying, about that player. So it's kind of hard sometimes to be like, oh yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. And it's a little hard on that one. But definitely good job on everybody. It was a good one. My man D Bland from the D Bland Show said, "What's good, fellas?" So thank you, D, for tuning in the show. D's got a really good show. Really good sit down. I got a chance to be on the show. It's a great show. Make sure y'all check out the Not Bland Show with my man D Bland on there. Make sure y'all check that out. All right, now let's go ahead and head to our final segment. Well, next to final segment. It is time for the main flame. So in the main flame this week, we're talking about we're in our NFL preview stage. So the last show we did the AFC and NFC South. This time around, we're doing the AFC and NFC East. So this one's a little bit closer to our hearts for an extent because we cover this division a little bit harder than we cover the other ones, other than the ones that we affectionately have affections for. But I'm intrigued to see where we go on this one. So I will start with James. James, give us your predictions for the AFC and NFC East.
I'll kick it off with the AFC East. In 4th place, New England Patriots. Patriots are clearly rebuilding. Looks like they're going to do the 1-year plan where Jacoby Brissett's going into the year as a starter. They're going to try to bring Drake May along slowly. He's the future of this franchise as of right now, but we'll see what tutelage he'll learn under Brissett. But pretty much New England's looking to build themselves back up. Their goal for this season is to honestly just play competent and competitive football at times. I don't expect a whole lot out of them. They're going through a lot right now with Belichick moving on. Gerard Mayo steps in. So, his first time being the head man in charge. Jacoby Brissett, he's been to New England before. He's had success there before. Granted, it was with McDaniels as the offensive coordinator. And then, again, I don't know who the OC is this year, but hopefully they got that squared away because we've seen in years past that's been a problem for New England as well. So I had the Patriots in 4th. In 3rd place, the New York Jets. I still don't trust the Jets. We saw last season they had all the hype going in with Aaron Rodgers coming over. Like LT said, they have a perceivable top 5 talent at the receiver position in Garrett Wilson. But again, it just remains to be seen. We know that defense is, top tier. We know the names, Quinn Williams, Sauce Gardner, but can they put it all together? Me personally, I don't think they can. The Jets are the Jets. I got them in third place. Second place, I have the Miami Dolphins. Once again, I think they'll be in competition for the division with the offensive firepower with Tua, Hill, and Jalen Waddle. I think they'll be in competition for the division. But as we've seen in years past, towards the end, injuries, and they kind of choke it away to the champs of the division again, which are going to be the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the division. We doubted him last year at times, and he's shown through where it was, hey, he's top dog. It's still his division. He's going to run it. I see no different this year. I think Buffalo takes the top spot in the AFC East. Switching over to the NFC East, I hate to do it, but fourth place, Darrell, it's the Washington Commanders. Again, Washington is a team kind of in flux where, they've cleaned house. They have a new ownership now, new head coach, new quarterback in Jaden Daniels. Again, they're just trying to, play competent football, get competitive in a sense that way next year they can hit the ground running. They can see what they have to build upon for the years to come if you're Washington. So, hey, look, this year you're looking for competent football, strides of success. That way you can build upon that to kind of establish and rebuild this franchise. And third place was my sleeper pick, the New York Giants. Again, the Giants are one of those teams where it all depends on how the hell Daniel Jones looks offensively. Is he going to be the quarterback from 2 years ago that helped him get a wild card playoff spot? Or is he going to be the guy we kind of come to know where it's like interceptions, overthrows, tripping on grass? You never know what you're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates, and so is Daniel Jones. Second place, I go with the Dallas Cowboys. Again, Dallas is one of those teams where they're always going to be 10 to 11 to 12 wins. This year, I think they regress a little bit. They're more back on that 10 or 11 side of it. And again, I expect Dak and CeeDee Lamb to play well. I just don't know if it's going to be well enough. We're seeing they're bringing back Zeke. Is he still going to be the guy they can depend on in the backfield? I don't know. I'm not too sure. Defensively, we know they got Michael Parsons. They got Trayvon Diggs. Hopefully he's back healthy from the ACL injury. So Dallas, let's wait and see kind of. Besides, you got a lot of guys there vying for contracts to get paid. We'll see if that pushes them over the edge. We'll see if it kind of leads to the team imploding. And then the number one spot in the East, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, again, on paper, this roster is top tier in the NFL. Howie Roseman always seems to do a good job of putting this team together. We see the pieces that he's added in the draft. The Eagles are always there in competition. If Jalen Hurts plays well, like we know he can, like the year they went to the Super Bowl, sky's the limit for the Eagles.
I like it. I have my say in a minute. But I like what you said for the most part. I have a couple flips in there, but I will see. Lamont, we head to you, brother. What are your preview for the AFC East and NFC East?
Well, I'm gonna start off by saying that I think that James Brown was one of the best to do it, right? Because my lists are almost exactly the same. I have two small changes, one at the top, one at the bottom. I think they can go either way. So I'll just give my reasons. AFC East, in last, I got the Patriots. It's sad for them because it's been 16 years since the Patriots or the Bills have not won the division. That's how dominant they've been, in that whole Belichick-Brady era. But that has come to an end, and now they're looking for the rebuild, as James said. So I do feel like they will come in last. They're just trying to play competitive football, just like he said. And shout out Stat Man. I hope I'm making you proud, man. I'm trying to throw these numbers out here. So Jets are number 3. Like I said, if they can get the old man to come through, Rodgers, we never know what he wants to do or what's going on with him. But but I feel like their coaching staff has something to prove, right? Like compared to the rest of the division, they seem to be lacking in that department, the true leadership of the Jets, and that's always been the question for them. They've had flashes, they have a whole lot of talent, but do they have leaders that can corral them and make them reach their full potential? I don't know. It remains to be seen. The last division title they had was in 2002, so that was 22 years ago. Number 2, I got the Bills. That was really a toss-up for me. At first, I said the Bills would take it again. I could see the Bills taking it again, so I agree with James still. They have some questions. They have people who, they've lost. The defense had to get younger, but they look like all the replacements have been waiting in the wings. So I still think they're going to be really strong. They won the division 4 years in a row. I do believe that Keon Cole will be one of the most electrifying rookies this year, and he's paired up with Josh Allen, who is the best quarterback in the division. So I got the Bills, and I do have the Dolphins. I changed it last minute. I do think that they have the longest upward trend in the division, and I think that maybe this could be the year, right, that they win the division. I think that they're obviously the biggest threat to the Bills. Can their defense hold out when the offense is playing great? Remains to be seen. They got brilliant minds there. I don't know. I kind of doubted them last year. They showed flashes. They just didn't finish. So I'm going to pick them this year. Maybe they get it done. So that's the AFC East. In the NFC East, last place, sorry to my wife, I got the Giants. I just think that the O-line, man, they made a lot of moves to try to fix it. What will we see from Daniel Jones? We don't know. The big loss of Saquon remains to be seen, right? I just think there's just so many questions there, right? In a division that is always so competitive and so brutal against each other. I just think they finished last. Third place, I got the Commanders. They've made a lot of moves. Like I said, Daniels comes in. We'll see how he does at quarterback. New coach. They also have some O-line stuff to address. Hopefully, they can protect that man because that's your bread and butter. That's your new toy. You don't want nobody to come in and break your new toy. So you got to protect them. But I still think that they're, waves behind the Eagles and the Cowboys. I do have the Cowboys at number 2. I think that they're going to do a lot of Cowboys things this year. They'll probably go like 9-8. The question is, should McCarthy have been let go? He still has a job, so we'll see. That's been the buzz there. The O-line, right? The O-line they've lost a lot of pieces there. Can they fill it in? Zeke comes back. Is he going to be the main running back? Who knows? He ain't the old Zeke, so they got some questions, right? And then number 1, I got the Eagles. The offseason moves is hard to deny. They pay some guys on defense. Hurts, is going to come back strong with Saquon. That's only going to help him. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Fangio is running that defense now. You talked about the coordinators, right? That was the biggest thing for them is last year they lost their coordinators. And we were like, okay, well, that now we're seeing a different Philly. But I think that Fangio comes in and who knows, man, we've seen him do some things. I've seen him do some things, Lord knows. So I think that he can do some things with that defense, man. And, who knows what happens. I think, the Eagles have the best chance to win it out.
Oh, awesome. All right, so I'm going to start with the NFC East. For me, I'm going, and I know Russ is not going to like because he is watching, and I'm going to get to his comments in just a second. But he's not going to like this. So here's my thing about the Giants. I love what they did defensively. I mean, you bring in Brian Burns. I mean, and I could be completely wrong about this because I've been wrong about this the last 2 years when I was down against the Giants. So Russ, just remember that the bad things I'm saying about the Giants have come back in good ways. The last time I said it, they won a playoff game. And then last year I said it, and they still found a way to finish third in the division. So wherever I say they finish, it's probably going to be a lot better. So I'm saying they finish in last. So my whole thing is I don't trust Daniel Jones just yet. We had to get in the comment and say I don't trust Daniel Jones just yet. The offensive line is something which they talk about in Hard Knocks. So if you had a chance to watch Hard Knocks, that's been a very interesting perspective on how teams think when it comes to their big time players. Just in general, it's been a really nice concept just to kind of see where they're thinking on certain players and how they evaluate franchise players and how they evaluate talent and all that stuff. So that's been fun. Anyway, with all that being said, I like the move, bringing Burns in. I still think offensively they got to figure some things out. The other thing that I want them to – I will say this. They got a guy named Ty Tracy, who is going to be, I think they're end up being their Saquon replacement. They got him in like the 5th round. He came from Purdue, started off as a receiver. He'll be a really, I think, nice piece for them, but they just got to figure it all out. At number 3, I got Washington. I think Washington, I think Dan Quinn's actually going to help this team out a lot. I don't know if I think that at their ceiling, they can be number 2, but that means one of the top teams are struggling, having injury issues, whatever. I think he's going to have them on the right path. I like the move that he did by bringing Dallas offensive lineman Tyler Badass, but we call him Badass. So when we at camp, we just say, yeah, Badass is coming to the podium. But bringing him in, a guy who he's only given up 4 sacks in the last couple years. So you give somebody who's an anchor on the offensive line to go along with Cosme, who actually, even though they had a bad year overall, Cosme had a really good year last year. While he's coming back, he's got championship experience. The offensive line has gotten better. They got to figure out the outside part of that. They brought in the young rookie Coleman. So I think they can make moves if they protect Daniels and if they can finally make sure that McLaurin gets the ball often and early. Then I go to 2, I go Dallas. And Dallas might be just by default here. They'll find a way to win games that they're supposed to win. They'll lose the games that they're supposed to lose when it comes to the big time ones, and they still have to prove something to me. At number 1 is Philly. I mean, Philly, even though they fell off the rails last year, in their last 6 games, they were 10-1, and then they end up finishing 11-5, and there's no reason that they should have finished the way they finished, other than the fact that they should have let Jalen Hurts rest and get himself together, which we talked about on this show. So I like Philly there. Now, moving to the AFC East, number 4, I got the Patriots. I mean, I think at this point it's obvious that they're on the rebuild in front. I like Jacoby Brissett. It's a good move bringing him in there and let Drake May kind of sit back in there and learn. And I hope for the best for Jared Mayo. I'd love to see the young coaches get an opportunity there. At number 3, I got the Buffalo Bills. And I have Buffalo there because for the last couple of seasons, I've been saying that they've been missing out on opportunities. Every time you think, okay, they're about to make the leap, something happens. And now, if anything, they've lost pieces, some critical pieces over this off season and so on. The receiving core doesn't look as sexy, but that could be a good thing. We'll see. I mean, Curtis Samuel did have a pretty good year last year with Washington, so we'll see there. They brought in Frank Gore Jr. at running back to go along with James Cook there. So, but I just had this weird vibe. Number 2, I got the Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy the entire time, per se, and you've got all those pieces, there's no reason why they could not win this Division 1 or at least compete and make the playoffs. Their defense is still a pretty solid defense, and their defense was good last year, even though their offense just wouldn't let them win games, man. They just wouldn't let them win games, even though they were competing. So I got them there at number 2. And at number 1, the Miami Dolphins. So they're ready to, I think, win this division. They got everybody, pretty much the same team. I think, Raheem Morset had a really good year last year. Really good year last year. When they were struggling to find that running back piece, they found that piece with him and Devin. Oh my God,
Agent.
There you go. I knew I was going to destroy it. But so yeah, that's what I got. So I got Dolphins and Eagles winning those divisions. All right, everybody. Before we move on to put out the fire, we got some comments. This is about to be fun. Sean says, "This has been one hell of a show, fellas. You guys are the real deal. Salute." And then I was actually going to bring this up, but Statman, of course, always on time. Monty Kippen, the father of the Tampa 2 defense, passed away today at the age of 84. One of the legends in the game, a Pro Football Hall of Famer in my book. I don't know how they do that when it comes to assistant coaches because you rarely hear it. But to me, Hall of Famer in my book, and much love to his family and prayers go out on that sense. Then Russ said, I see you, Lamont, when he was giving the stat man shout out there. So he was hyped about that. He is excited about that Giants defense. And then when you talk bad about the Giants, he don't see you no more.
I'm sorry, Russ.
He don't see you no more.
I'm sorry, Steve-O, my barber. He's another big Giants fan. James knows. I'm sorry, man. Please still cut my hair on Friday, bro.
That's all he asked for.
I love you, man.
I still need the lineups, baby. Don't take away the lineups because of what I'm saying today. Russ also says, I know where you live, boss. Remember that. This is true. But I said it with love, though, Russ. I said it with love. Mike Adams says, great show. Got to dip early. We'll definitely be listening again. Mike, thank you, man. Definitely appreciate you coming in.
Right.
You know, and then for our view, and I could be destroying names, so I do apologize. I know that's your boy, Anthony. So we're just gonna say Anthony. Anthony said good move by the Pats. And then D Bland from the Not Bland show says Daniel Jones should never be trusted. He is a below average quarterback. He is the same guy we saw in the Senior Bowl without Barkley. He is not going to get any better. This, sir, I agree, and that's why
somebody check on Russ. He got to be booming at the mouth.
Russ is about to jump. Man, look. Russ is going to just go on a spree. Russ, don't hurt nobody. We love you, baby. We love you, baby. Let's go ahead and finish this bad boy up, and let's put out the fire.
Fire, burn on. Fire, 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 burn on. Fire, 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 fire. Legacy on fire.
Right, all right. We're ready for Legacy on fire. We're ready for Put Out the Fire, and we're going to finish it up smooth. Lamont, I'm going to start with you first, sir. It is your turn to put out the fire.
All right, man. Look, check this out. Why can't I ever have two good things in sports? Why can't I enjoy the fact that Angel Reese is killing it with her 14 double-doubles in a row, but Caitlin Clark is also killing it for a Fever team who was down in the dumps. She's also got a bunch of double-doubles in a row with points and assists. Why can't I like them both? This narrative is killing me. Why can't I like the 2024 USA National Men's Team and I can't also like the 92 Dream Team, or I can't like the Redeem Team? Why do I always got to pick one? Stop doing this to me. Why can't I have two GOATs? There's a whole bunch of GOATs in the world. I can't have two. Why? Why do I have to keep doing this? I'm not picking one. Why can't I like Bron and Steph? They playing on the same team. Why can't we just enjoy it and stop worrying about who's the best? Why? Why can't I have two? That's all I got.
Why, baby? Like, he just want to know why. Like, give my man answers. He don't understand why he can't like two. Like, what's the problem?
Can't exist.
You know,
what's happening?
You know, I just don't. It take two to tango. You know what I'm saying? You know, so hey, let it happen, baby. Like, look, I understand. I feel you, Lamont. I feel there are multiple GOATs in different situations. Too many GOATs, to be honest with you, because all of a sudden everybody's like, "That's the GOAT." Like,
right.
All right, calm down, my guy.
Right.
Everybody wants to be a GOAT. There can only be a few GOATs. James, we had to you, sir. Go ahead and put out the fire.
I mean, continuing on what LT said, I mean, if people can consider Paul George a GOAT, I mean, why not? Let's have MJ and LeBron at the top of the top. It's some people out there, man, that seriously think that Paul George is the GOAT. Like, granted, these are like Gen Zers, like kids now coming up in basketball, but they think Paul George is the GOAT. And I personally think they on drugs, but, you know, to each his own. I mean,
and that's why nobody knows who the number one pick in the NBA draft is. That's why.
Right. Who are these people?
Don't nobody know who these kids is because don't nobody know who's on TV no more. Don't nobody stay in college for long enough on the men's side, or they go to the G League, which we can't even get those games. We don't even know where those kids play at. They say it's in America, but I'll never know because the games are never on TV. Like Matas Bacelas play like Overtime, Ignite, or Elite is some sort of G League team, but I'm like, well, where they play at? Who is this? Who are these people? Like, I'm glad Cooper Flagg chose to go to college because then we'll actually get to see who he is and know that he can be the number one overall pick versus if he went the G League route where it's just like who, where, what. Like, we're getting dominated by kids from France in the top end of the draft now because it's like, you know, I guess teams fly overseas to see the French players versus kids who stay here and go to the G League. It's a mess. Bottom line, the NBA needs to figure out how to better advertise or how to better broadcast these incoming prospects. We don't know who half these kids are. You can sit there and lie and say you knew who went in the first round of this year's NBA draft. It's a damn lie. You don't know who half these kids are. The number one pick, Zachary Richard. The boy got too many C's in his name. I don't know how to goddamn.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
Too many C's in his name.
We do not know these people. It's ridiculous. I can't tell no more. I can't tell. The NBA draft used to be as good as the NFL draft from the aspect of you knew who was available. You knew who you wanted to target. And now it's just like, all right, we'll see in 4 or 5 years if this kid turns into anything, if I even remember who the hell he is by then.
You know, and you know, it's funny you say that because going into that draft, besides Bronny, who is the 55th pick of the draft, and many people say he shouldn't have got picked, you know, but to each his own. you look at that, and when the 55th pick is the most like star-studded pick in the draft, that's a problem. That's an NBA problem that, now some of these guys will come down the road. It's almost like Major League Baseball. Maybe they get into the Major League Baseball point where we just hear about this guy like 5 or 6 years down the road. Like, he was the number one pick of the draft. Really? He was for the MLB draft? And the guys are still like the kid that's out there killing it for Pittsburgh right now. Skeens is out there giving them the business. He had a no-hitter today, and they took him out the game. People were pissed because they was like, yo, he's got the no-hitter going. So it's like it's starting to become that where you just don't know these players, or they stash players and you don't see them for 87 years. Besides Bronny, the only other player I knew about, and I only heard about him a couple of weeks before the draft, was Rob Dillingham,
Kentucky.
And that was it. Like I didn't know any of the other guys. And I remember, like you said, James, growing up as a kid, you knew these players, you knew who they were. But the killer was, or the most important thing was, you had a couple years of college to learn that player. That's how you fix it if you're the NBA. But the problem is they got the G League now. So if you're, like you said, James, are not televising the G League in a prime situation where we can see it, it's hard for us to get excited about it when you don't have that. Now, college, on the other hand, you get these 1-year guys and they're gone. If you made the rule that the NFL made, now I'm not going to say do 3 years because the NFL is a tough, stronger, more physical sport. So I think they do the right thing with 3 years. 2 years. 2 years at college. At the minimum. They're getting NIL deals now. 2 years at the minimum. Give us a chance to learn that player. Have some affection with that player. That's why the women's game is growing the way it is. And that's why the WNBA is taking that next step, because college has done such a good job on the women's side of getting us to learn the players, knowing the players, and the media has thrown their full attention to it. So, James, I agree with you 1,000%, sir. They got to figure that thing out. And all right, I'll finish it up with the put out the fire here for myself. Look, I don't normally zoom in on myself, but I am.
Let's do it.
So, Miami Heat over there in the dark. I got it dark for a reason because y'all pissing me off. What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? I fully went into this offseason thinking, okay, we're gonna make a couple of moves and try to make some things happen here to try to retool, because Philly said, hey, we're gonna go retool, and the Celtics have done nothing really but gotten better. Their confidence level is at an all-time high, and I sit back and watch my boy Pat Riley do nothing. Maybe I've had so much faith in Pat Riley for years. He's never led me astray for the most part. You're leading me astray right now, Pat. You're leading me astray right now, Pat. Something has to give. Trade something. I've heard Brandon Ingram's Inkerlings. I don't care. At this point, I don't care who it is. I need you to show me that you are trying to get this Heat team back into the NBA Finals and win an NBA Finals. Because at this rate, it don't look too hot. Do something. Please, sir. That's all I'm asking. Just do something. Because I don't even want to watch the NBA offseason right now. I was sitting there, like I told y'all earlier in the show, DeMar DeRozan, he like going to Miami.
I would have loved to see that. I would love to see him or PG go over there with Butler. I would have loved to see even maybe if they would have pulled Mikal Bridges. That would have been a nice look for Miami.
That's what I'm saying. Lamonte don't care.
Look. I do got Zach LaVine available for you.
Ooh, man, look, at this point, I'll take it all. I just don't know what you want in return. I don't take everything we got, but I mean, I need
I'm sure
something.
we can work that out down the road. We the Bulls, we could use some picks, but
you can have
we'll work that out later.
Give you 7 second rounders. I mean, that's what the action price for players now. You just give them 5 second round picks and just see what happens on day 2. Look,
they out here trading players for middle schoolers.
Hey, it's crazy work. I don't understand what's happening, but hey, I guess we'll see. All right, before we run away, everybody, once again, we thank everybody for tuning in for episode 73 of Legacy on Fire. Now, we'll be back in a couple of weeks. We're going to be running around ourselves. We got some big events on Legacy. James got some things running around. We'll be back in a couple of weeks at the beginning of August to continue our NFL preview push. But before we run, we do have a couple comments in the in our comment section. Justin Brown says co-rookies of the year and Reese and Clark. He's asking that. Should they be co-rookies of the year? The only thing I'll say about that is I feel like even if they are co-rookies of the year, no one wins. Why? Because if Clark wins, they did Angel Reese dirty. If Reese wins, they don't like Caitlin Clark. No one wins it. The only way this would be okay, Cameron Brink needs to come back out of injury and win the Rookie of the Year. It's the only way it happens. If she can somehow get from the injury, they'll be like, "How?" Then all of the Clark haters and the Reese haters can come together and hate on Brink. That's the only way it works, y'all. It's the only way, and we do wish Cameron Brink a speedy recovery, but that's the only way it happens. That's just my opinion.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right answer here. Like, even if they did do co-rookie of the years, they'll say they still got it wrong, and the mobs will just continue to go at each other's throats. There's no right answer here. There's no winner in this one. There's only losers, and unfortunately, the media will be a winner because they'll be the ones controlling the puppet strings. So the media will be the winner.
We win. That's it. It's the only winner. Russ says the Dolphins without Wilkins won't be the same. 37-year-old Calais Campbell is not the same as the second best DT in the league. That I can agree. I know you guys were that close to getting him in New York to go pair aside Dexter Lawrence, and he was begging for it. I think he'll do really good things out there in Vegas. But hey, look, don't sleep on Calais Campbell. Now I agree with you. He's 37 years old, but Calais still can get it a little bit. He ain't gonna get it the way Wilkins was getting it, but I think he still
did have 6.5 sacks last year, though.
He did.
In Atlanta.
I was at the game that he got his 100 career sack. It was such a cool moment to see him get the 100 career sack when they took on the Commanders last year. So that part in there. Justin says European farm systems are top notch. AAU and one and Dones are killing the product.
One and done's.
One and done is my fault. I said and Dones. That's hilarious. I was saying drones. Thank you, Lamont. Thank you, Lamont. And one and dones are killing the product.
That's true.
I agree with that. The NBA draft has been ruined by the one and done era. So Russ agreeing with Justin. They invested in all kids all the way from 12U to 18U, as opposed to a school system that rewards kids with highlight tapes by higher guns in high schools. Justin's cutting deep on that one.
I mean, it is a lot of
lying.
It's nothing but
it's all about the mixtapes nowadays, the highlights. It's not about development.
Money, exposure, and parents.
Yes.
Those are the three things, and it kills the AAU game. It really does.
I saw something the other day. It was the two top first graders in the country, the class of 2035. I'm dead serious. Class of 2035, and they were showing a mixtape on the kids, and it was in Maryland. It was an AAU group in Maryland, and I was like, really?
It's probably like DC Premier. DC Premier is a big one.
Yeah.
Takeover is big in both Virginia and Maryland, but yeah, it's definitely a game. Funny, a couple years ago, the leader of DC Premier got locked up for like a drug ring.
What? With the babies? Oh my god!
Right, and that's how deep it goes. So
drug ring is crazy work. Drug ring is crazy work. Last two, Russ says, shout out to the Knicks for giving us a boat for Bridges. I know that the Nets fans are happy about that.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I know, right? It's slick. It's slick. And then last but not least, I miss Maya Moore. Who doesn't miss Maya Moore? I left in her prime. She's, even though she's got the chance, it's like Barry Sanders, but with championships. Left in the prime, he's like, you could have gave me so much more. And on top of that, if she stayed the entire time, in my opinion, hands down, she's probably the greatest WNBA player of all time. If she stayed, once she left, you don't know. It's the mystery, and that's what makes her so great. All right, everybody, that is it for episode 73 of Legacy on Fire here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, Aaron on the amazing Bowie Television. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in with us for another one. James, before we get out of here, anything you want to say?
Hey, as always, appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me back for another week. Glad to see LT back on with us as well. As always, everybody out there, make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out all the great stuff we got here at the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Lamont, anything you want to say before we get out of here, brother?
Yeah, just shout out to everybody tuning in. Just like James said, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things that we got going on. Follow us. Shout out to my Tyler guys, man, for tuning in. They said they would. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody who watched.
Yeah, so I want to give love to everybody. Yeah, nice show today. Thanks for all of the comments. It was definitely fun to engage with you guys, and hope that you come back again for some more in a couple weeks as we bring you some more heat on Legacy on Fire. Of course, make sure you check out all the shows on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, Monster Minutes, the Rob Johnson Sports Show. And look here, this is a first happening this week, y'all. A first happening this week. My man Rob Johnson is going to join me for one-on-one. As he'll be the first Legacy person to be on one-on-one as we talk about his career and where it started from all the way until now, as of course the founder of Rob Johnson Media, and of course a Legacy Maker Sports Network journalist and team member. So I can't wait. That's going to be a fun one to kind of get into it. So if you're ready for a high impact show where it's going to be a lot of energy, there may be some yelling. There may be some yelling, so just be ready for it, because it may just happen. That'll be Aaron next week, and then this week, my man Jermaine Farrell, a sports director down at WWCW down in Roanoke, will be joining me for this week's episode, for episode 130. Well, that's it, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate our Legacy Maker Sports viewers and our Bowie TV viewers. We will see you all next time. Outro. I knew I was going to do it. I looked right at it. Let's go back.